Tonight's story is based on a real kind of American mystery, a house that seemed to know its new family before they even moved in, and the last letter was not found in the mailbox, it was found inside the house. Stay until the end. Ryan Carter and his wife Melissa had just bought an old house in Westfield, New Jersey. It was large, beautiful, and quiet, the kind of place people called a dream home. On the day they got the keys, Ryan stopped by the house alone to measure the living room. The street was empty, the neighbors' curtains were closed. Everything felt normal until he opened the mailbox. Inside was a single white envelope, no stamp, no address, just one line written across the front. To the new owner. Ryan laughed nervously and opened it. Inside was a typed letter. I have watched this house for many years. My father watched it before me, and now I watch what is yours. Ryan frowned. At first, it sounded like a prank, but then he read the next line. How many children will live in the house? I am pleased to know the young blood is coming. Ryan folded the letter and shoved it into his pocket. That night, he showed it to Melissa. She looked disturbed, but both of them agreed not to scare the kids. 2 days later, Melissa visited the house with their daughter Emma, who was 8 years old. They didn't stay long, just enough to walk through the rooms and talk about where the furniture would go. That evening, another letter arrived. This one was waiting on the kitchen counter, not in the mailbox, inside the house. Melissa's hands started shaking as Ryan read it out loud. Your daughter has such a lovely room. She stood by the window and looked out for a long time. She will be the first to understand what is hidden here. Melissa looked at him in horror. Emma Haydee stood at that window, but no one had been outside. No one had spoken to them. No one had been seen on the cameras near the front door. Ryan called the police, but there were no fingerprints, no sign of forced entry, and no clear suspect. So he did the only thing he could think of. He went back to the house alone after midnight. He wanted to prove to himself that there was a simple explanation. He searched every room, the attic, the basement, every closet, nothing. Then, as he stepped into Emma's bedroom, he noticed something strange. One wall sounded hollow. Behind the wallpaper, hidden near the closet, was a narrow wooden door no bigger than a cabinet panel. Ryan slowly pulled it open. Behind it was a tight, dark space inside the wall, just wide enough for a person to sit. There was an old chair inside, and beside it, a stack of letters. Dozens of them, all addressed to previous families. Ryan grabbed the top one. Then he saw a fresh envelope lying beneath it, bright white, new. His name was written on the front. He opened it with trembling hands. Inside, only one sentence was typed. Why are you reading my letters, Ryan? Turn around. Ryan's body went completely still. The letter trembled in his hands. Slowly, he turned around. A man was standing in the bedroom doorway. He looked to be in his 60s, wearing an old work jacket, rain-soaked shoes, and a ring of house keys hanging from his belt. Ryan recognized him. It was the quiet man who lived across the street. The neighbor smiled. My father looked after this house before I did. Ryan stepped backward toward the hidden wall. You wrote the letters? The man looked past him at the stacks of envelopes. Not all of them? Ryan's expression changed. What does that mean? The man reached into his pocket and placed an old brass key on the floor. This house has had caretakers for nearly 70 years. Every family was watched. Every child was recorded. Every letter was saved. Ryan grabbed his phone. I'm calling the police. The neighbor didn't try to stop him. Instead, he laughed softly. You should. Minutes later, police surrounded the house. They found duplicate keys, photographs of previous families, notebooks filled with dates and routines, and hundreds of letters hidden inside the walls. The neighbor was arrested. Ryan and Melissa never moved into the house. They sold it months later and tried to forget everything that happened. But during the investigation, police discovered one detail Ryan could never explain. The oldest letters inside the wall were written almost 20 years before the neighbor was born, and the handwriting matched the newest letter perfectly. The man across the street had been watching the house, but apparently he wasn't the first. And that is why the Carter family never returned.